the last week of 2012-13 financial year. As we wrap up this year and begin the next, let's take stock of what went right and what not so right for the real estate sector in the country. How did the larger economy fare for the sector? How did the micros affect the industry? And are we entering the new financial year in a better shape or not? The mood of the industry as we capture on this debate will also give us an indication on how prices are likely to move for both commercial property and residential property. So let's begin with welcoming our panelists. We've got Mr. Lalit Kumar Jain, National President CREDAI, in our Mumbai studio. Lalitji, thank you very much for coming in. Finally, we have you in the studio and not just behind the camera with our reporters. Also, Sunil Mantri, member CMD, Mantri Realty, Mumbai. Sunil, thanks again for making the time. Anshuman Magazine, Chairman and Managing Director, CBRE South Asia, Delhi. Anshuman, good to have you with us. Sameer Jasuja, Founder and CEO of Prop Equity. And of course, we'll also soon be joined by Madan Sabnavis, Chief Economist, Care Ratings from the Mumbai studio. But let's get started. I think before I start reading the economic indicators, whether it's the GDP numbers or the others, which are actually fairly or a little bit scary, let me just get the panel's view on what went right in the year gone by. Let's start on a positive note. Lalitji, tell me from a real estate industry perspective, what was one big positive of 2012-13 financial year?
Well, from CREDAI perspective, the government at the center in urban development as well as housing and urban poverty alleviation, they moved towards policy making. Like housing department appointed 3 committees, one on affordable housing, second on rental housing, and third on approval processes. So I think they recognized the need of reforms. And that was the biggest positive for me because CREDAI really worked hard to get these things done.
All right, so the focus on urbanization, and I think, if you look at how visible Ajay Maken has been since he's taken power, whether it's on affordable housing or talking about a single window clearance, all of those things have actually come in a lot in the limelight over the last 6 months. But Sunil, is it a little bit too late to wake up to these things, or do you think a start anywhere which way is good? What according to you was the highlight?
I think many expectations were there and not much could be done in the last year. We were expecting a lot of lendings to come to real estate sector. Again, lot of reforms on a single window approval, then speedy approval, environment clearances issues. I think nothing has come. So according to me, I think we have not achieved anything in the last year, and the whole year has gone more of the regulations rather than the reforms. I think I don't feel anything much significant we achieved in the last year.
All right. So Sunil clearly doesn't think that 2012-13 is a memorable one. There was anything to remember about this year. Anshuman, what's your view? Some movement definitely on urbanization and affordable housing. Is that enough?
I think the biggest positive is that in spite of global gloom and doom in economy, Indian economy shrinking, there was activity in the real estate market. So one can of course complain that the activity, the sales are down, supply is down, but overall it could have been worse. So I think that's the only positive, that there was still activity in the market in spite of how the global economy is performed. And the second thing you're forgetting was the FDI and retail announcement, I think was a positive.
So the multi-brand retail, of course, 50% and 100% and single brand. But Anshuman, we haven't really seen any traction there. Single brand, yes, we've got large stores coming in, but on multi-brand, there's just not been any movement.
Yeah, you're right, but the fact is even in single brand, we are seeing, although the activity level is slower, but we are seeing on the ground more retailers coming in, especially in the food sector and even others. The interest has gone up. At least they're looking at India, because I remember in the past, because of the legislation, they talked about, yes, India is the next market, but nobody was even willing to come down. So that's happening, and I think this will gather traction. As far as multi-brand is concerned, we keep on reading the newspaper, IKEA is going to get cleared. I think if 2, 3, the larger ones get cleared, that will build up momentum. But no doubt, if this had not come in place, we would not have seen even the activity we have seen so far.
Now, Sameer, so was that the only big policy change which was positive for real estate sector as a whole, allowing FDI in retail, and hopefully that would in future in the next 5 to 7 years give that big leg up and boost to commercial space?
Well, I would agree with Anshuman, yes, that over the next 5 to 7 years period, you will see a lot of traction to the retail side of things. I don't know about commercial office space with respect to this particular development, but I have to share a few positives that I think are slightly different. I think developers put their head down and focused on execution. And 2013 is going to be the year of maximum deliveries, and that wouldn't have happened if 2012 they would have not focused on trying to execute.
So you're saying they got their act together in 2012, and now you will start seeing a lot more delivery in 2013 and 14.
And if you look at it, the supply numbers have come down, new launch supply, so that shows that they were focusing on execution. Surprisingly, the prices went up. Absorption went down and prices went up by approximately on a weighted average of 19%. So despite absorption coming down, despite new launches coming down, prices going up, which is a positive sign that there is demand at some levels, although much lower demand, and developers trying to execute. And I think the government has done a lot of stuff which will translate into major policy changes in 2013, which is working on the real estate regulator bill. I think that should come through this year. I had not so much work done by Mr. Markhan in that area.
Okay, so those things will happen. But as of now, 2012 and 13, I think the major thing was that the developers got their act together on the execution front. We'll refer to some of the data that Samir has mentioned a little later on the show. But I think when I look at how real estate really panned out, Lalitji, one thing which definitely comes to your note is that consolidation was the theme. And debt, if you look at the listed companies, because you are aware of their debt levels, that mad rush to go and expand was actually taken care of, and balance sheets were more important or became more important. Would you say that that was a big step?
Oh yes, I think you see, real estate market in any case is very cyclical in nature. So you always get into expansion mode and then consolidation mode. Only unfortunately the Euro crisis definitely led to some kind of miscalculation on part of many, and therefore what Samir said is correct, that there is lot of focus on execution, and I really am happy about it, because ultimately that's going to keep the market afloat and also create goodwill for developers. So yes, in a way I supplement what Samir said.
Okay.